Hello everybody, Byzantine Falcon here, and I have a review of the premium Tier 3 American Artillery, Sexton 1. Now it's currently for sale in the store, and I thought I might do a quick review, show you what this machine can do, and why you might want to add it to your garage. So let's get into it. As I said, Tier 3 Artillery, US, and it's premium, currently for sale in the store, so let's go take a look at that. Now the base package runs at $1,700, but Tankopedia lists it as being $1,250 with gold. Now you factor in $300 for the garage slot, that's $1,550. Why are you paying $1,700? Why are you paying $150 gold extra? And hopefully that's why you're watching this review. So, looking at the tank itself, physically, it's not an ugly machine, though aesthetics probably isn't why you're picking it up. You want to know what it can do. So let's get into the details. Now, mobility is the key here, I think. This is a speedy little artillery. Engine's located in the rear, with the transmission up front. The horsepower is pretty good, especially the power ratio, but the speed's a thing. This thing can get up and go when it needs to, whether advancing with your team or repositioning for better location. Now the other thing I did want to mention here is the armor, which could deceive you. Now artillery is not exactly known for being armored beasts, but that lower plate has bounced more shots than I think it was possible just in recent games trying to get the gameplay for this review, which surprised me quite a bit, and I felt the need to mention it. Now in addition to the speed and the armor, the other important thing here is the ammo. So this is an oddity that I found out while playing. So I load high explosive, predominantly high explosive, but I also throw on 20 premium rounds. And when you switch over to it, it has a longer range, which is interesting in that you're firing HE and maybe a target moves out of range or you're just barely beyond it. Rather than moving, repositioning, keep your spot, load AP. Throw some premium rounds in and you get a little bit extra range out of it, which is kind of neat. I'm not sure of any other tank that does that. So, let's see what I load in it, what I would recommend. Looking at the upgrades, start with equipment. Pretty standard artillery package. Shell rammer, gunlaying drive, and camo net. The third spot, the camo net's optional if maybe you don't have the silver or you prefer something else. This thing has a variety of options. I would not suggest optics. Toolbox isn't necessary. If you're getting hit, you're probably dead anyway. Spall line or ammo rack, all the other things. Camo net seems the best all around, plus it's affordable. Now if you look at supplies, as I said, 92 with high X, and I throw on 20 of the AP rounds. I don't throw on the premium AP rounds. I don't throw standard AP on there because my thought is if it's the point where I'm firing AP, I want to make sure it gets through. Now there's no guarantee it will. Its penetration isn't great, but you know, why take that chance? If I'm going to fire a low pin round, I might as well fire for high explosive. My consumables include a smaller repair kit, cola or food, and a manual fire extinguisher. Now that third slot you could fill with oil, for example, to get a little more speed out of it. So your mileage may vary there. Now, as I said, with the armor piercing, the premium rounds, you're going to get a little extra range out of it, so it's worthwhile to spend some silver to load some more in there. Now, its uses. It's artillery, so obviously you're going to be firing as artillery, but this tank isn't bad when it comes to firing over iron sights. Do an auto lock and shoot anybody that's foolish enough to get close enough to you. The big thing is don't fire at moving targets. You got to lead them quite a bit, but if somebody sits still and they're in your visual range, lock on and make them regret that decision for sure. Now we've covered accuracy. It's got great rate of fire. Speed, it's pretty quick. Aim time is great. And the size of the aiming reticle is good. Now I do want to go back to accuracy, but I will cover that when we do the comparison with another tank here in just a moment. So, crew. Crew I would recommend. Crew skills I would recommend. In this case, I have my scout crew on there, which has 6 Sense, Brothers in Arms, and Camouflage. Now, the only skill I say you have to have with artillery, the first skill you should have, is definitely Brothers in Arms. Camo's great, so train camo first. Once it's 100%, swap it out for Brothers in Arms. I only say Brothers in Arms over 6 Sense simply because you just shouldn't be in a position where you're going to get spotted. Brothers in Arms helps you with all the major crew qualifications, so reload, aiming, that's more important for artillery, my opinion. But those three skills are pretty standard. There's some other options you can go with, but I don't want to dig too deep into that. So, as I said, premium tank, and this one gets a 35% silver boost and a 60% XP boost. So it doesn't make a bad trainer, especially if you're looking for something different rather than a light or whatever else might be available at that tier. In this case, it's artillery. It's different. It's fun to play. It doesn't require a whole lot of... I won't say it doesn't require a whole lot of thought, but it's certainly less intensive than, say, some of the premium lights. Now, as I said, I was going to compare this to another tank. You may have noticed there is another Sexton available in the garage. In this case, under the UK line, we have the exact same tank, same name anyway, Sexton 1 for the standard price. Now, looking at it, it looks about the same, all in all. Stat line looks about the same. Modules are pretty much in the same place. Engine's a little bigger. Ammo rack still on the rear. Armor pretty much identical. So you would say, well, why would I spend extra for this American premium when I have this British one available to me? Well, one, maybe you play America predominantly, but there's a lot more to it than that. So, now going down the line, we're going to compare some of the stats on it. Now, you can find this information on World of Tanks Xbox Guide, Tank Profiler. That's what I've been using. And you can also compare it with Tankopedia, the hard stats. So, let's go down the line here. Hit points. The US Sexton has 20 more than the British one, so that's in case that matters to you. Speed's the same. It's got the same engine, chassis generally. Camo rating is actually better on the British one, so you're going to hide a little better. Now, I threw camo on this, as you can see, to boost that up, plus the camo net. Getting spotted generally isn't a problem if you stay far enough back. Horsepower's a little better on the American one. Weight ratio. Now, rate of fire, that's where this one shines. It has an 8.0 rate of fire versus a 6.98 on the UK one. So it's going to fire more. Now, the reload is also better on the American one. A little less. Aim time is better on the American one. Accuracy is better on the American one. 0.47 versus 0.76. So your DPM is going to be way better on the American one. And that alone, in my opinion, if you're going to buy this tank, makes it worth the extra gold. In addition to this, you have better traverse, better view range on the American one. Now, traverse, that's a weird one. Generally, with fixed hull guns such as artillery tank destroyers, you don't have a whole lot of traverse like you do with a turret. But in this case, you have quite a bit. So you're sitting still, you've got your camo net up, and maybe you auto-lock or you're moving to look for targets. You've ever noticed your aiming reticle will get bigger because you had to move your tracks to get the angle you wanted. In this case, far enough away and you're set up in a good angle, you're not going to be moving at all. Your gun's just going to be traversing left and right, which is handy, especially when you're trying to set up shots on anybody that might be getting close to you. That accuracy will come into play there. Now, the radio is better on the British one, but the speed is the same and the armor is the same, which is weird because the horsepower is slightly better on the US, but we've covered all the major points there, so let's get into some of the gameplay so I can show you what this thing can do. For our first match, we have Prokhorovka at night. Greens have taken the south side, reds have taken the north, and as you may notice, I'm moving a little fast forward, trying to get the initial maneuvering down as I go to that low rise there at Kilo 23. Good little hold down spot for this tank. Get you close enough to the action to put some fire into them and far enough away to where you shouldn't be spotted. So the reds are pushing that ridge, and thankfully my teammates are getting some spots on them, and I'm just going to start putting shots into anybody that sticks their head up. So, as you may notice, there is no background sound from the game. The audio file didn't really match up to the video. I found it a little too distracting, but hopefully this will still show you what this tank can do, even with the audio not there. Good shot, good hip shot right there. So, any tank that sits still long enough, you should probably be putting shots into, but right there, they move at the last minute, you might miss. But worst comes to worst, keep firing. You have quite an ammo capacity, good rate of fire, so there's really nothing lost by firing off rounds as quickly as possible. You might waste the shot, but you never know. You might just land one in. They'll zig when they should have zagged, and you'll get the hit on the target. So right there, that M2 is just dodging all my shots, and by the time he sits still long enough, we still miss him. All right, so the left side's starting to collapse down a little. We've got 2 to 3 moving in on that side. and I'm trying to hold them off while my spotter is over there keeping them lit for me. At this point, I consider moving, and something pops up, so I take a shot over iron sights and put one right into him. That's a shot you can pull off with this arty. Like I said, try it again, hits a building. So it's hit or miss like anything else, but it's worthwhile trying to take that shot simply because you have the rate of fire to manage it. Keep putting rounds on target. At the very least, it'll make them hug cover because they're not sure what's coming in at them. So fire one more into this gentleman, take him out of the game. And at this point, I'm starting to realize that my range isn't far enough to get all the way into their backfield. So reposition, move up to about mid-area, and take advantage of that speed while I get to the next low rise. And hopefully my teammates get up there and get some spots for me. So letting them know I'm on my way, trying to keep them covered as I move up. So we have one light that has decided to go all the way in the back and try to light up the other reds that have taken more camping positions. So put some more shots on target. TDs are a good choice. It's easy to hit them, and right there, one shot. Artillery, another juicy target, especially if they sit still. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and that one, almost a fully aimed shot, still misses. Accuracy's good, but it's not infallible. So I'm hoping that maybe my lights will get over there and give me some more spots, but at this point, I'm spotted. One of their lights made it through, and I'm going to put a round into him, make him regret stopping still long enough to get a shot on, and I'm going to boogie out of there because their RD is going to start putting some fire on me. So at this point, we're up. We have 4 artillery and 1 medium left on their side, and most of our team just doesn't seem to want to engage. We have a medium sitting back in base, a light all the way in the back, and I'm going to try to thin out their RD a little. Don't quite get the kill, but I certainly make them pay for moving. Now, at this point, I'm starting to spot tracers. So, that's something you can look for with artillery, especially get that artillery view. See if you can narrow down maybe where they're firing from. Fire a blind shot. Your rate of fire is great. And there, if your teammates do actually get in there to get a spot, fully aimed shot, right into them. Now, we're down to 3 artillery and 1 medium, all back in their base area. Another shot, fire, moved on to the next target. We got a kill. We'll see if we can get this next one, and we did. All right, so we got 1 left, and he's gone invisible again since our spotter's dead. So let's focus on the target we can see. Unaimed shot, missed, that's to be expected. But you keep firing. You get a rough idea where they might be. Looks like the other artillery is trying to do the exact same thing. And we're mostly just looking for a muzzle flash at this point, and he has not given his position away. So that medium on our side still refuses to move out of the cap. Sometimes you're going to have teammates that don't work with you, and that's fine. One of the things I do like about this tank is, worst comes to worst, you can take the fight to them on your own. Now, when artillery is leading the charge, there's kind of a problem, but sometimes it has to happen, and you can almost make it work in the Sexton. This light's trying to get that last spot, see where that medium or that heavy went to, checking the board to see exactly what they are. And our artillery is pretty well spread out, so even if that medium does decide to push the ridge, he's not going to necessarily get anything worthwhile. Maybe 1 artillery, and the rest of them will start putting fire on him. So at this point, I decide I need to move up. I'm going to go start looking for targets, see what I can find. Moving, firing, more or less just trying to make advantage of the qualities of this tank. So I get frustrated a little bit and decide I'm going to go find these guys on my own. Medium's done, and there's 1 already left. And I want that kill. So fast forward here a little bit as I maneuver up. You know, I've got a pretty good idea where he is, but I don't know exactly. So try to keep my turret pointed, my gun pointed directly at where I think he is. And as soon as I get that spotted notification right there, auto lock and hip fire. Now I should have let it aim more. He fires back, hits my loader, tracks me, but he's fired and I reload faster. Boom. There it is. That's definitely what this tank is capable of. 8 kills. Good match. Now, with our victory secured, we move on to the results screen. 2102 XP, fair amount of silver, with 8 destroyed and over 1100 points of damage. High caliber, top gun, not a bad match. Alright, for our next clip, we have a showcase of the versatility of the Sexton 1. We're on Wide Park. Greens are on the south side, reds are on the north. And as you can see, we're maneuvering back, trying to get a good line of sight on this berm. See if we can't maybe put some shots into their backfield, or anybody that might peek over. You know, see what we can see, see what we can get a hit on. And the reds are already pushing over the berm. Couple lights coming in, trying to get spots for their arty. And we auto lock. Building eats it, not a problem. Back up, try to get the spot off. Get behind some cover there so their lights can't just pick you apart. We're going to roll to the left a little, see if we can't get a shot through a window, but that PZ1C is moving too quick for that. So he wants that arty. He wants a light, he's after a kill. Whiff the first shot, and he puts a few into our front, but the armor surprisingly eats it. Then he sits still, and that's what you get when you sit still in front of a Sexton. Rate of fire, accuracy, both of those things do pretty well when firing more as a TD. So we have another gentleman here who shouldn't have stopped moving. He stopped to get a good shot and ended up taking an arty round in the rear for it. So at this point, we've taken care of all the reds that have come through our base, the lights that are there after the quick arty kills, and you'll see it in low tier games, especially with a lot of artillery. They'll be rushing you. And Sexton can fight them off, provided you know what direction they're coming from. Maybe you can set up for the shot. So here we've got a bit of a choke point underneath the bridge. It looks like a Blitzen we're taking aim on. And let's see if we can get a shot into him. Hit the tracks, not a whole lot of damage, and at that point he realizes he's being targeted by arty, backs up. Our team has mostly been fought back from the ridge, so we're not got a whole lot of targets to spot at this point. Mostly just waiting for something to pop up. See what happens. So at this point, it's probably a good idea they know we're here. If their arty is any good, they've already got a pretty good idea where their shots are coming from, so let's move somewhere else. Looks like there's going to be some action down at the bridge, and hopefully we can get distance enough to where we can put some shots on them without being too open. One of the things is that it's kind of hard to maneuver whenever you need to get out from behind cover, fire, and then get back into it. But this tank can manage it to a point. So we get an auto lock, fire, lucky shot, and sneak one right in there. Backing up, looking for another one, and we miss the heavy on the left, but our armor is still bouncing those shots. Look at that. I wouldn't have called that. I figured as soon as I was spotted and heavy starts firing at me, I'm done. But those shots, a couple of them actually did bounce. And at this point, you need to make a decision. Do you go back out there and hope you can one-shot them, or do you move on to greener pastures? And in this case, we're going to move to greener pastures. That heavy's going to come looking, and so you don't want to be where they think you are. Use that speed, take advantage of it, move up, try to get some shots in. At this point, we're already down, and they definitely have the initiative by pushing over that berm. We don't entirely know where the rest of their team is, and the shot goes wide there. Trying to get something to keep these guys back, give our teammates a chance to maybe go spot us some easier targets, but it's just not working. Every time we take out one, another one shows up. But that heavy is definitely going to be coming around that corner in just a minute, and so we need to not be there when he shows up. And there he is. Going to start putting the fire on the other artillery in the backfield. And so do we go left? Do we chase him down from behind, hope to get one or two shots into him? Or do we take on something maybe a little easier right here? And that Blitzen we targeted earlier is going to be around that corner. So let's see if we can put a shot into him. He's on a sliver, auto lock, hits the building. Not a problem. Back up, give that reload a shot, and then moved a little too far forward. He got a shot in. And for our last match, we're going to showcase how the Sexton 1 performs when it is low tier. We're in a tier 5 match here, and we'll go ahead and speed things up as we maneuver into position. So we're going to move around this corner and try to find a nice spot that's covered, but still close enough where we get some shots off. So you're going to notice I start driving through these buildings, and I'm doing that for a specific reason. If Artie is watching, and you make a beeline right to one point through buildings, and they're going to be searching for muzzle flashes there. That's what I would do anyway. And so I go through and I demolish all those buildings. So they might know where I'm at, they might not, but one way or the other you throw them off. And at this point, OI Experimental is cresting that hill, and we can't quite get a shot on him, but we're still managed to get a target lock. And he hasn't spotted us, so let's see if we can put some more shots into him. Second one missed, and we realize exactly where he is, so we're going to go ahead and try artillery mode. And we pull back a little too far, and the hill eats it, but we're still seeing muzzle flashes. So at this point, we know he's still there. Throw another shot in, and we get a hit. So just keep firing. Use that rate of fire, use that ammo capacity, make the most of it. Throw another one his way, and he's not there anymore. Start going looking for another target. So at this point, we're just searching. Seems like every target we think we see, something that isn't moving, ends up dead pretty quick. And with this many artillery on the board, that's not a real big surprise. Panzer 5-4 moving. We get a track on him, but we don't even slow him down. So we're going to try to lead him a little, try to throw another shot into him, and that one misses. And at this point, he is behind the hill, and we can't get a shot. All of our available targets on this area up in the airfield are not really presenting anything we can work with. And then we spot this gentleman. And he is just sitting still on that ridge trying to put shots on our guys coming around the corner there on the cliff. Now, after the first shot missed, I'd be repositioning. But he doesn't, and we take him out of the game. So at this point, we're looking for new targets again, and our teammates are doing a pretty good job of suppressing the Reds. That one missed. We lost that one to our fellow artillery. And another individual that wants to stop to take a shot. So not fully aimed, but still managed to get it into him. So at this point, we're just searching. Let's see if we can find something else maybe we can hit. Side shot, hit a track. Nothing really vital there, and he keeps moving, and now he's behind the shadow of that hill, which ate the round we sent his way. So he knows what he's doing. He knows he's safe from us for the moment, but he's not safe from our teammates. So at this point, we've exhausted our range. We've exhausted the number of targets that are in our range, and it's time to move up. And especially whenever you're low tier, you're going to find you're going to need to do that from time to time, especially if their initial push gets pushed back. They might not have anything else that's in range, and you need to be in position whenever your teammates spot the rest of theirs. So, at this point, we see an arty on the map, and we're trying to get to a good position on that hill where maybe we can put some effective fire on him. And he is running. Probably a smart move. Lead him a little, and well ahead of him. So we're going to try to lead him with another shot where we think he's going to go, and we were way off. So one more. The rate of fire coming into play here, and fully aimed, barely dings him, which is unfortunate, but it happens. The accuracy's good, but it's not impossible. But he's doing the right thing. He's moving, and we're doing the right thing by just continuing to put shots into where we think he is. You have the ammo, you have the rate of fire. Make the most of both. Worst that happens is you lose a few rounds. Best that happens is you get a kill out of it, just by sure blind luck. So we see a TD up on the north side of the airfield. Looks like he's pretty stationary. He rams our buddy and charts a reposition. We take him out of the game too. So at this point, we're down to 2 artillery and 1 light on the red side. That last little light is rabbiting, but our teammates have a pretty good line on him. We track him. They finish him off. So now we're searching. We know there's 2 artillery left, and having played it a few times, I kind of know what the spots are on the other side. I'm looking, maybe hoping something's over there, just firing blind shots. One is spotted, takes off, put some shots into him, and our teammate gets the kill. Not a problem. So around the hill, usually this is a good arty spot, and something you'll learn when playing it is what the good spots are on both sides, where you see them regularly, and you don't want to be where you would be. You want to try new spots, you want to try new locations, because if you're going there, chances are everybody else is too, and they know it. So at this point, he has finally been spotted. Looks like it is a good kill. And we finished this match off. So we were low tier and still managed to do fairly well. So let's see what the results are with that victory. We've got 1564 with XP, fair amount of silver. It's not going to be a huge earner, especially with the consumables. Brawler, 2nd class badge, 4 kills and 800 damage. That's not bad at all. 3rd from the top with low tier.
And there you have it. A few examples of some pretty typical games, both good and bad, that I've had with Sexton 1. Now, as I said earlier, I would highly recommend this to anybody that's interested in buying it. It's a good trainer. It's versatile. You can play it both as a TD and as arty. Mobile. You know, the speed makes a difference, especially with these low-tier artillery pieces. It's competitive even if it's low-tier. You're never going to feel like you can't do anything in a game. Its rate of fire and its damage
will generally win out. If you miss targets, keep firing. If you're hitting somebody that's sitting still, even if they're higher tier and you're not doing much damage, whittle them away, track them. That's kind of a big deal, especially when you're stuck as low tier. When you're high tier, they sit still, you should be able to one-shot them just about every time. But the main thing is, this tank is fun to play. I have a blast running around in it. It's fun to just try something different every now and then. Hopefully this review helped one way or the other. If you like what we did here, drop a like and a subscribe with the channel. Check us out on Twitch. Let us know what we should do different or what maybe the next review should be in the comments. Good luck out there. We got you covered, and see you next time.